Yeah. And then I won't have to steal it off of Facebook. Okay.
Right. That's
Share.
unless, of course, that stops us from getting onto Facebook. Who knows?
Oh no. I don't know. Oh,
Sorry. What did I say? I said nothing. I know nothing.
Preparing to live stream the meeting.
Okay, got it.
Up here, meeting is now live streaming on Facebook. I got a little got it alert. Did you?
Yes, I did.
The technology up. I see us on Facebook.
I believe we're here.
I believe we're here. I just am going to check and make sure I can see it from my phone. And what a time to be alive.
I appreciate any time to be alive.
What a time to be alive, Bob Coates. Okay, let me just make sure I can see our cute faces over here. Yes, we're in my phone as well. We already got one like from Christine Davis Chambers. She's my homegirl from Massachusetts. It's not that far of a lag. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me make that stop. It's very annoying. It's like when you would call the radio station to request a song, right?
Turn your radio down. I used to be a DJ.
Oh my gosh.
I was a DJ program director. That was my first love.
Oh, I love you even more now. If that was even possible. I lived for the radio. Like recorded cassettes flying across the bed to catch my request when it finally came on and hit that record on those mixtapes. Lived for the radio. I love that. How long were you a DJ?
That was I started working in the broadcasting school to start out with. And I went to broadcasting school and ended up working for the broadcasting school. And then I became a DJ after that. And then
great voice for it, Bob.
pushed it big time. I was even named small town country music radio award somewhere. I was just looking through some files the other day. I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that.
Oh my
from Billboard magazine.
I love you so much right now. Did you do like a fun show with interviews and stuff?
It was a live show. Well, a couple different shows. I worked in country music radio, and then I worked in small town, and the live stuff was we would have the trading post, and people would get on there. Well, Bob, I got me partar to sell. I'm like, partar. Okay, you got okay, well, he's got a partar. I don't know what that is, but he's got it for sale. A partar. Oh, 2 tires. Oh, for a G. Okay.
Oh my gosh, the country music station DJ life for you.
And then I did a radio with in North Carolina with a guy called John Moore, and we called me Bob Coffee. So it was the Moore Coffee Morning Show.
No.
And that lasted for a while until he felt that he wasn't being as popular. And he says, well, I'm just going to leave and keep the sales and stuff. And then I started getting more popular. And then he threatened to quit selling as well and pull his his people with him, his clients. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Because of course, people like Bob Coffee more.
Yeah. I was the transplanted Yankee in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, North Carolina. You said. I just really tried to Google it because I wanted to see a picture because I'm such a stalker and I have no chill. And
this was a long time ago. Actually, I'm getting old, so this was a long time ago.
I need some footage from this.
I started I was the first DJ on a radio station called WIBS 98 FM in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and took it from doing nothing to I did an airathon for Special Olympics to raise money for Special Olympics, and we raised over $11,000. I stayed awake for over 100 hours, broadcasting live the whole time.
You're so cool. No, 100 hours.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's 4 days.
How did you, I'm gonna need to know a little bit more about that. How did you manage, like, okay, basics, what was involved, like, to try to
Had
stay
a
past
had a medical person
24?
had a medical person come in, every 6 hours and take my blood pressure and check to make sure I was healthy. Learned that you can't sit under fluorescent lighting 24 hours a day without things starting to appear behind you. So we switched those lights off and put in some incandescent light. And then you eat really small meals often. So every 2 hours I would have just a little something to eat, and so you don't stress your body in any way.
What did you do to distract yourself from staring at the clock?
Oh, I was busy. I was running the radio show.
You just stayed alive doing work
Yeah, we did the whole thing. Plus I
the whole
was,
time?
plus I was broadcasting the whole time and saying, hey, so and so just donated, and they're going to donate 25 cents per hour for the time. Hey, we just
Wow.
got one in that somebody just said if I stay awake for the next 24 hours, they're going to do $100 an hour. Well, you got to know they're going to pay.
I feel like everything you're telling me is a hugely untapped resource for me somehow. Like, what else can you do? You're amazing, Bob Coates.
No,
100 hours. Did you
I've
have to
just been
drink?
very fortunate.
Was there coffee involved or any sort of like,
No, tried to stay away from stimulants, just did water.
just did it
What?
classy?
Well, yeah, because if you do the stimulants, then you end up on a roller coaster.
Yeah,
So the
you
whole idea
crash.
behind eating just a little bit of food and drinking just water, and then I would take a break from broadcasting every 5 minutes, or 5 minutes for every hour.
I am in shock over this news.
And then when I got done, I slept for 24 straight hours.
Yeah.
My partner had to, after 12 hours, she flipped me over.
Oh, what a nice person. Because you were out. 100
Mhm.
hours, was that the goal, or is that just where it ended up?
No, that's where it ended up. It was and actually it was a little over 100 hours, but it was easier to multiply all the money by
Yeah.
100 hours. So we just called it 100.
Oh my gosh,
It
you're
was like
perfect
100 and
little
102 or
hostess
something.
with the host with the most there. We definitely need a telethon. And I feel like you're gonna be part of it now. This is what happens when people tell me, "Ooh, on my phone it says we have 5 people watching." This is
Sweet.
exciting news to me because, it feels like Zooms often feel like we're just alone here in the world, but there's humans over
I
here.
know, but even if we were alone, I just so appreciate you.
Just alone in this beautiful universe. Awesome. We have 2 minutes. We're gonna start. And I love that you're here, Bob Coates. I really do. Thank you. Thank you for doing that troubleshooting with me yesterday on technology.
Thanks for the invite. And
This is much better.
I did turn up my color intensity due to being next to you.
Yes, thank you. I
I
don't
just
know what, it's just like what the universe wants to make my camera look like, because I just have a ring light on, and it just keeps metering it really dark all the time. But I'm glad we look really great together with this. Like, it's like we planned it.
and we got the memo for blue and
The
everything.
blue is
Turquoise.
it's very, when I was in Greece, all I just kept saying was, dang, I look great in blue. True story. Me and my mom. But it was never one of my assigned colors. Did you have assigned colors as a child?
I have no idea of
Okay,
which you
well,
speak.
as one of 2 girls, I had assigned colors. I was purple and green, and my sister was pink and blue.
Okay.
So all of our like presents, all of our clothes, all of everything were always in those color palettes. Is that crazy?
Indeed.
It is. And it's literally on the aesthetics my family chose that we look best in, because I'm brown haired, hazel eyes, and she's blonde hair, blue eyes, and they're like, these are their colors. And I'm really salty about it because I look great in blue.
Yeah,
So
well, you do.
that's why I had to say it in Greece everywhere to my mom. And when I had red hair, I couldn't wear my assigned colors because I looked like a clown if I wore purple, and I looked like the Riddler if I wore green. So that's how I know I should have got rid of that hair a lot sooner, you know?
Hey, it's 11
Oh,
o'clock
it's 2
in my
o'clock.
time.
Well, what time is it there?
11 o'clock.
It's 1 o'clock Central. We're just going with the Central people
Okay.
because we love them. And welcome, 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 my peoples. This is our second broadcast in Friends of ASP, but the first one, I feel like we're getting real right because technology is on our side today. I am Marissa Belletti Lavoie, Queen of Sass, and I'm here today with the one and only Bob Coates.
Ooh,
Bob
I
Coates.
have to stop you there. I'm not the one and only. I just met my brother from another mother named Robert Coates in Vancouver, Canada, who is also a photographer.
Okay, the one and only that we love the most, but maybe that other one's got a chance to call us. Let's see what you're doing, Robert Coates. But welcome, Bob Coates. Round of applause. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for having
being
me.
here with us today. This is our Friends of ASP group. I have a couple wonderful lives scheduled with members of our Friends of ASP group, and Friends of ASP is for everyone. This is a sharing community. We invite our members to post about wonderful things they have coming up and just about anything you want, to be honest. I'd love to see your work, your photography, your special news. This is a place for that sort of stuff. And I'm happy that, I'm part of it because we don't really have a great community that I know of right now that is offering that sort of sharing ability. So this group is sponsored by the American Society of Photographers. Yay. And I am their social media chairperson, as well as being a super chair for the American Society of Photographers. I love them very much. They foster everything that this group is about, forwarding the learning of this craft and appreciating the artistry of it all. So Bob Coates is basically all of that, all of the above and more. You are the man, truly. And I'm so excited you're going to be here. You're going to be on my program today. So Bob Coates, tell us about your life. Let's start
Where
with
do
your
you want
street
me to
creds.
start? Oh my goodness.
I would like to hear your street creds. I want your PPA credentials and any other sort of wonderful things that you have to tell
A
along those
credentials.
lines.
Let's see. I'm a craftsman, master photographer, master artist, CPP. I'm a EASP, which is the educational associate. Had to write a paper to get to earn that on photography, obviously. Basically, my paper was on vocabulary, and that if you know more words and have a deeper vocabulary, you can make better photographs.
Ooh.
And you can find that paper on the ASP website.
Yes. I have read your paper.
Okay.
I don't even know how, the educational associate to me seems like very tricky business. So anybody that holds that, you go, Bob Coates.
That was a lot of work. It was really hard to prove my premise through the the education from other areas. I had to go really far afield. I had to go into psychology of the brain and the vision of the, how the eye sees and all these different things. And I had to go way out there, and especially into the education neighborhood, to prove that if you have a better lexicon for whatever your subject matter is, you will become better at it. And I posit the one part that I couldn't actually prove was that if you learned a whole bunch more words and what they meant earlier, then you would become a better photographer faster. That was the whole idea.
Earlier in life.
Earlier, anytime when you begin, if you're into the process, if you're saying, oh, I want to be a photographer, or I want to learn to take better pictures. Well, what does the word specular mean? Specular highlight. Oh, and if you don't have that, you can't picture it. If you don't have that word and the definition of it, you don't have a picture of it in your head. So you can't pre-plan or explain what it is you're trying to achieve. Anyway.
Love it. I get what you're saying. You're absolutely right. Oh, Bob Coates. Where are you from?
Originally outside of Philly.
Ooh,
and spent a year in Chicago on the way to the Virgin Islands, back to Delaware and North Carolina, back to the Virgin Islands, and then to Sedona, Arizona, where I've been since 1999.
boom. There's some interesting life changes there.
Yeah, I got stories. I got stories that we could sit here all day.
Oh man, I totally would. If you guys would like to rewind to the beginning and hear about some of his, just the tip of the DJ stories, I feel, and the broadcasting stories. This guy's, I can't wait to tell TJ about the 100 hours awake thing when he gets home from work. So Bob Coates, I feel like you have a little presentation prepared for our group here.
Well, it's not presentation per se. I just wanted to share my screen.
Yep.
My one of the things that I've been doing lately is pushing into the heavens. I'm doing a Milky Way and night sky photography workshop here in Sedona. And if you go to successful-photographer.com and poke around on there, you'll find all the dates. I launched the dates for next year, and they've already started to book, which is really cool. Didn't get a lot booked this year because it took me so long to get my approval from the Forest Service to be a guide. And in order, you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops, first aid class, and what's your emergency plan if somebody gets hurt while you're taking them out on the forest, and how many people you take. There was a whole what's your plan and how much you charge, and what it took a lot longer to get through the process than I thought. So didn't get to promote a lot. I do have September 20 and 22nd and October 18th and 20th. And for people who are listening to this, half price.
Ooh.
So it's, I would rather have people in those classes than not have them sell. So if you poke online, half price for those classes for anybody in here or in the Friends of ASP.
Nice.
So just for fun, my wife says, by the way, she said, every time she sees me, I'm like studying, Milky Way texts and how to process and how other people do it. And I'm out there and, oh, I'm going out to shoot the Milky Way again. She goes, you're obsessed. And she is right, I guess. I have a mistress. Her name is Milky Way or Night Sky.
That's
So
amazing.
I'll just share a couple of pictures, from the Milky Way that I've been able to capture. Have you got it?
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Oh
see
yeah.
on my phone too. We're all good.
Cool. It's working. Oh my goodness.
Technology.
Yeah, this is up in Utah, up by Lake Powell. It's called the Toadstools, and this was one of the first panoramics that I ever made of a Milky Way. And actually, this is very close to one of the first Milky Ways I ever shot. Oh my goodness. Talk about a lot of work and
Wow.
putting it together. Let's see, got a couple other ones to share. That's up at Lake Powell.
What is that your house for the night?
That was yep, that was my house for the night. And this is the house that I normally have right here. This is oops, no, don't. I'm not going to try and do dictation. Thank you very much. This is my normal house. I sleep in here now. I have retired the tent. I now boondock in my RAV4. I have it all built out. It's kind of cool. And this is my new headshot.
Love it. Got that whole Milky Way in your hands, huh?
Yeah, buddy. As you can see, my wife likes that one better than the one where I have my head popped open and all the stuff is coming up. She says, I like this one a little better than the other one.
I love the head exploding one. It's definitely an iconic headshot of yours, and it reminds me of like Peter Gabriel, but then also something I saw when I was little, so I love it. In case you want to know.
Don't know. This was at last Milky Way class, which was just a month or so ago, and we managed to say hello to the Milky Way. This was one of my abject lessons of getting the foreground and putting together and the background, and you gotta blend stuff together to make these things happen.
When you're out here in the middle of nowhere,
Uh-huh.
do you get scared?
I don't. I think once I got a little startled when a bunch of javelinas came down the trail.
Ooh.
And when the javelinas came down the trail and I heard it,
Oh,
and they're kind of clawing along. It was like,
yeah.
oh, what is that? I think that's the only time I was ever uncomfortable. I just getting out underneath the night sky.
Yeah.
Seriously, like I say, my wife says I'm obsessed. I say I have a mistress now.
Yeah. You love
So,
that sky. It's amazing what you can do.
so weirdly enough, you don't have to do night sky. Let me get the better thing on here. Turn pro mouse on. Okay, there we go. Milky Way is all year long. They always talk about Milky Way hunting season.
mhm.
And the Milky Way goes in a complete circle around the Earth, so it's always visible. But what they talk about with the hunting season is to see the galactic center of the core.
Ooh.
So if you look here, I'm looking north up at a campground by the Grand Canyon. There was
Mhm.
a street light behind me, so I've got a little self portrait here with the Milky Way in front of me. So and then it was a long night, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go home. And I didn't mean to turn that one off. Let me switch over to this one. That's the one I was looking for. So on my way home, I started home at about 2:30. I knew that the Milky Way would be up, and I stopped at this place called Cliff Dwellers. And if you notice, there's light raking across the actual cliff dwellings. There's more houses and stuff up in there, but this was the one that kind of caught my attention. Again, this is looking north, so it's not the galactic center. It's not the most beauteous Milky Way photograph ever, but it's definitely cool. And this car came driving along. And I was like, oh no, you're messing up my 30-second exposure. Turned out that this was the best exposure of the night because the car lights
Yeah.
helped out. So
Wow. That's
this is
crazy.
right here in Sedona. This is right around the corner.
Beautiful.
This is downstate in Phoenix. This is a place called the Superstition Mountains.
What?
These are all jumping cholla cactus. You don't want to walk too close to these guys because they'll send barbs at you. The desert is a place that likes to stick things in you.
What?
But the
That's a great
Superstition
tagline,
Hills, and this light is all coming from Phoenix. It's the light
Beautiful.
of the city off to the thing, but we can still see the Milky Way because we're looking toward the south where it's darker.
That's the most beautiful photo I've ever seen. And I do want to touch those things. Like they're calling me.
It'll get you.
What?
This is up in Joshua Tree, and it was so weird. I'm sleeping in my car, and I had been studying up on how what time the Milky Way was going to be up and stuff. And I went to sleep, and I was just going to say, okay, your body will wake yourself up when it's time. I woke up, looked out the window, and looking at the Milky Way said, you know what? It's 3:14. And, got out, and it was the time that I had planned to go to shoot it because it was right at the campsite. And it was 3:15.
Oh,
It is just, after
connecting like
a
that.
while, you can really start to, know where things go and what they look like.
Wow.
That is here in Sedona. This is in my backyard. This is Bell Rock. This is, wait a minute, it's upside down. I'm confused. No, this was an assignment from the platypod people and the platyball to make a full complete from horizon to horizon with the Milky Way all the way through.
Very amazing.
And it took me about 6 months or so to figure this out and have the clouds not be there, and the Milky Way being straight up and down, and finding the space where we had, a cool foreground and a cool background. So that was like the extreme vertorama.
That's amazing.
That's either, depending upon which night I took this one, it was either 8 or 10 photographs blended together.
Whoa. Love it.
So this is the main groove here. Bell Rock, Courthouse Butte, the Mermaids, and then you're seeing the light from Sedona there, and the light from the village is coming over this way.
Wow.
And that's probably 12 images panorama stitched together.
Oh, Bob Coates in the desert with his magical Milky Ways.
Yeah. And if you get tired of seeing any of this, just let me know.
Oh,
I'll
I
stop.
love it. This is what we came here for, man. It's awesome.
Okay. Again, this is probably my main muse as far as the foreground goes for the Milky Way. This is my mistress, but this is my muse down here. So kind of see that. And this is Courthouse Butte, and Bell Rock is kind of just sneaking in over there.
Wow.
And let's see what else we got. Oh, that's the superstitions again. This is what they call Cathedral Rock. And the reason you can't see the Milky Way quite so much down by the horizon is, one, the light pollution, but it was also, this is forest. The reason it's yellow is because it was burning, the smoke coming through. So it kind of cut down there. So that's why I kind of think of the Milky Way shooting as a 4D chess game. You got your foreground that doesn't move. You have your Milky Way, which is constantly working its way across the sky. You got the moon that's working its way across the sky. You got the sun. What time does the sun go down? What time does it? Oh, when is it really dark? There's all different, so there's all kinds of things to put into play and to study and to figure out for when you can go shoot. Because if you have a full moon, you're not seeing much of the Milky Way. I don't care where you are. This was the same kind of thing. I did all this planning in my app, and this is Barstow, Barstow. Anyway, this is the Imperial Sand Dunes. Whoa. And I had just done this plan over in PhotoPills, which is one of the apps that you can use to know where this Milky Way will be at what time and what day, and what the foreground will be like. So I'm figuring out, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. But I didn't know that this town was so close and so bright, so it chewed up almost all the galactic center. I mean, it's still a cool photo, and I'm glad I took it, but the planning part got, no matter how well you plan, you don't always get what you're looking for, but you just go ahead and go for it anyway.
That's the motto. It's still awesome though. Yeah,
this was a pretty cool trip. Imperial Sand Dunes in California are pretty cool.
Wow.
And this is actually just there's a little parking lot up here that you could park your car if you want, but there's a lot of BLM land not too far away, which is where I was staying. And the Milky Way is not the only thing that's up in the sky. Again, this is looking north. That's you get the circle thing if you have the North Star or the Polaris right in the center of your scene, then everything goes around. If you shoot to the east or west, you get stars going like this.
Ooh.
I don't think I have one of those showing, but
it's a little tip there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's weird because the stars rotate around there, but when you go east and west, they start to go in a totally different direction. It's actually pretty cool and can lead to a very different image. And then this was a wintertime looking for the meteor showers. We didn't capture quite as many meteors as we wanted to. But this is again looking north. There's your Milky Way coming across. It was snowy on the ground. I found out you really need to have a warmer on your lens when you're in weather like this,
Oh,
because yeah, all of a sudden I'm looking, I'm like, hey, how come I can't see anything? There was ice all over the lens of
oh
my camera.
no.
So,
Wow.
all right. So
It's crazy.
anyway,
That ice and the
that
color
was,
tone is magical. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I'm
Kat.
back.
Yeti. Do you know Yeti?
Yes, absolutely.
He's a wild man.
Yes, he is.
He asked, when you do 12 images in a pano, how long was the shutter for each shot?
For those, they were probably 20 seconds each.
Ooh. Ooh.
And yeah, the Milky Way is moving the entire time.
Yeah.
So you shoot the 20 seconds depending upon your lens opening, how wide your lens is. You have an amount of time that you can be without getting any star trails.
Yeah.
So you set for that, and 20 seconds was close enough for this particular one, because that's what I wanted for the foreground, because I had a little bit of moon behind me,
Aw.
which lit up that foreground, which gave it a much nicer, you say, oh, don't shoot when the moon's up. No, you can shoot when the moon's like got a sliver on it and
Yeah.
it's behind you, or on the other side of you.
He also said you take really beautiful photos.
Oh, well, thank you, Yeti. I certainly
Yeah.
appreciate that. You're so kind.
So tell us about the workshop experience with you.
It's 3 days and 2 nights. So you come in at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we go 4 hours in the classroom, and kind of basically start at the beginning. What gear do you want to use? And if you know that stuff, we kind of go through it quick, but there's always these new things coming out, which I keep finding out that I'm like, things that I did 6 years, or not 6 years, 6 months ago, are like, oh, you know what, if I do this a little bit different, if I use this, so we're constantly improving. But anyway, 4 hours of instruction on how to capture, how to focus at night, how to handle your camera at night, how to set up your camera for night shooting. It's really nice to like turn down the, simple things like turning down the brightness on your camera, or learning how to take your phone and make it red. Because if your phone, so the light, instead of being the bright white, is, wow, what's that? That's
No, your
cool.
phone is flashing right
I have no idea what's happening there, but I like it.
So exciting.
But you through the accessibility filter or feature in your camera, you can turn it to a red light, so that instead of it being really bright, and then you can also turn down the volume of the brightness, and so that you're not going to ruin your night vision as you go to work.
What? Who would
So
even
after 4 hours, we have a good idea of what we're going to do and where we're going to go. Then I take everybody out to dinner, and we go to dinner at Soundbites Grill if it's not a Monday or Tuesday. And then after dinner, we head out and hit the trails and get ready for, getting the foreground picked out, and getting the, studying up where do you want to be in relation to where the Milky Way is at what time, how late do you want to stay out, et cetera, et cetera. The next day we do class from 10 to 3. And from 10 to 3, then we stay out on Milky Way as long as anybody wants to. Most people are like, I'm ready to go to bed. But you learn to start staying out there. And then the next day we go from 10 to 3, and we process the images, answer questions of, okay, what went right, what went wrong, what do we need to work on to do better. We need, with the last class that I had, I found they had some settings on their cameras, which is, I don't use Nikon cameras, but I found that their settings were off and causing them problems. We dug into the menus, figured out what it was, and the next night everything was much better. So then we do from 10 to 3, you get some time off, hang out, then your dinner on your own, and then we head back out into the wild. And then the following day we do some more processing and answer final questions and stuff. And if anybody wants to, we go out to lunch.
Aww.
If you're tired of seeing me by then, you can just hit the road if you like.
It's so messed up. People are never sick of you. That's amazing. I'm trying to think of the whole how, like, well, you said you had to get licensed to even go to the places you go.
Well, I can go whatever I want,
Yeah.
but I couldn't take you as a paid client into
Mhm.
that place.
Yeah. So you had to become a guide. That's so interesting.
Yeah, and I can only be a guide for 6 months a year. They don't issue any permanent ones anymore. They're only doing temporary ones. And so it's
Ooh.
6 months, and then you have to wait 180 days to be able to take people out again
Oh,
for the
dang. They better
next
get
time.
signed up then.
Well, no, it's okay. It's actually perfect because I actually cut off this year 1 month. I had it set up to go to November, and I said, hey, 180 days. I'd rather start in May. Can I finish in October? And she was like, yep. And they redid my permit to end in October. So I'll be able to start my classes in May
Oh, good.
next year.
That's cool. You
Yeah.
little genius.
Well,
Little math genius.
I try to do the rules.
Oh man, so I get what you're saying. You can go anywhere you want, but you can't bring a bunch of cool photographers unless you have the approval.
Correct.
And you
Yeah. And
have it, Bob. So you get
classes are
everybody in
limited to
there.
6 people.
Oh,
Just so you know, it's I don't mind if it's less, but six is the limit so that everybody gets, good solid personal attention.
oh, that's very nice. That's very nice. I love that. And we have people in here that I don't feel like were in here before. If you'd like to mention your discount that you're offering our friends of ASP peeps.
Friends of ASP go for half price for September 23 and October 23. And the dates are the 20th and 22nd and the 18th and 20th. Now, those are the formal classes. If anybody wants to come on their own dates and they're like, oh, I can't come on those dates, but Bob, I want to hire you up one-on-one, you just give me a call. We'll sit down and work something out and see what's best for everybody. I just did some guy from Connecticut flew in, rented a truck with a camper top with a tent that pops up. And we went out for 2 nights, 2 days and nights we spent together, and we went to the BLM land. And so it got cloudy, so we couldn't do the Milky Way. But then I was keeping my eye on the sky. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, I went, ooh, to the north, it's clearing. So I woke him up and said, hey, we're going to go shoot the Milky Way going to the north. We won't get the galactic center. But he was like, really? And then he was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm ready.
I'm from Connecticut. I didn't know that you had Connecticut people going over there. That sounds like a blast. I will say the lack of sleep thing does trouble me.
Well, you can, as soon as you get
I'm a
in
sleepy princess.
as soon as you get in from your sleep, from shooting, then you go to sleep. And then I gave you till 10 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Yeah,
Yet.
it's nice for people that don't have to groom themselves for hours.
Well, you don't have to do that.
You don't think that I would be full Milky Way fabulous out there every day?
Oh, you would.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
How many aliens have you seen? Yeah, I feel
I
like
don't want to
you're
scare anybody off.
connected with them so that you like you guys are friends and you have a secret agreement that you don't photograph them. Because if you've been out there all those times in the dark,
I have seen some strange things.
yeah,
I've
definitely gonna see
I've
the
seen
other.
the 6 or 7 lights doing this and
Yeah.
then just disappearing. That's a couple of different times I've seen that.
That's basically where they hang out.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
They're hanging out in the desert with you. Oh my gosh, selfie of you with the aliens would be the cutest thing ever. But I would do a slight alien desert theme to my wardrobe for the week for the workshop, just so you know.
All right. I'm standing by to stand by.
Yeah. Standing by to stand by. Awesome.
Okay. Oh, and for 2024, there's still a discount, although it's not going to be half price. For 2024, for friends of ASP and anybody who's ever been into one of my classes before and knows what they're getting into, there's a $200 discount from the thing.
That's very nice of you. Well, I feel like there's a bunch of people who should go do this immediately. I've never successfully taken a photo of the night sky. And so like it's just fascinating to me that you can nail it so beautifully. You have
Well,
major
there
skills.
is an art to it and a science as well.
Oh
You got,
yeah.
like I say, you got all those moving pieces. You gotta,
Mhm.
kind of take into account. And but there's the apps that can really help us now, and the phone stuff. Man, there are so many. My phone is really
Stop
freaky. I
showing
don't.
your phone.
It's
But you're offering to take all those pieces and all those questions and just like
lay them
let
together and
people,
make them
yeah.
understandable and accelerate the process. You won't know everything by the time you're done the class, but you'll have a really, really good, comfortable understanding of how to do stuff.
Mhm.
Because I'm still, I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, been shooting some night sky, and I'm still learning just these tiny little tweaks to take the Milky Way processing to another level, just doing something a little bit different, stacking images, different ways of processing. Just add a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and build it up, as opposed to going, hey, let's make the Milky Way magenta and blue. You
Ooh.
know, I'm still a fan of making things look relatively realistic. It won't be how your eye sees the Milky Way, because the Milky Way, if you just look at it, it's essentially just a cloud of stars. So it just looks, some people are like, and I say, oh, there's the Milky Way. Well, no, I don't see it. Okay, see that line that goes there? Oh, okay. Well, what happens is when you have the camera and you have a longer exposure, your eye can only take in so much. So where the beauty comes in is in the post processing. That's where the final, the major portion of Milky Way photography comes. It's as important to do that as it is to do the capture.
It's so nice. Yeah, I agree. A lot of what we all do, I think, is in the magic on the other side too. But
Yes.
I love you, Bob Coates. I would love the link to your website again.
Successful-photographer.com.
I'm gonna
And
post
then
it
there's,
after too.
yeah, and there's all the different links are at the top. There's a one for the Milky Way. There's one for the other programs that I teach. Matter of fact, if anybody's up in Colorado, I'm going to be speaking in Colorado Springs coming up real shortly.
Ooh,
Going to Colorado Springs in the middle of August, which is,
sounds pretty fabulous.
let's get that date.
Colorado Springs. We have Jessica from Colorado is going to be on my guest next week.
Okay. 17th, I'll be doing a Thursday night program there. And then the Saturday all day, and we're talking about commercial photography there. And then in September, I'm going to be in Mackinac City in Michigan doing a Milky Way class in their dark sky area.
Aw,
So
that's awesome.
yeah. So if anybody's going to be at either one of those places, love to see you.
You're such a brave little nugget going out there.
Well,
So
it depends
brave.
on who you ask. If you ask my wife, well, he's pretty stupid. He'll do that stuff.
Oh, no, brave. We'll use the word brave.
From my Boy
That's
Scout
cool.
days, brave, clean, and reverent,
Yes. Oh, I
or
love
brave,
that.
clean, and irreverent.
Brave Clay. Put that on a t-shirt. That's so smart. Oh, well, Bob Coach, you're a delight as always. Do you have any other things you'd like to share with our peeps?
Again, most of the information's up on the Successful Photographer website, and I'm back to traveling to teach. If anybody's interested and wants to bring me to their place, we can work it out.
Ooh, sounds like a good time, Bob Coates. Well, I love this. It went very well. I feel like all successes were had here. Thank you very much for being on our Friends of ASP program. And tune in next week. I have Jessica Vaya. Do you think I'm saying her name right, or it's Valia? I think it's Vaya. But
I'm not
Jessica
sure.
from Colorado. And the following week, I have Heather Heather Henry, and I think I'm gonna get Arthur Rainville and Tony Marie in right after that. So we're good.
Ooh,
Getting
what a
things moving
lineup.
and shaking. Yeah, I talked to Arthur today. We have nice little chit chats sometimes.
He's an amazing man.
Yes, and their workshops they're offering are very special and unique. So I'd love to get them to speak more to people about the opportunity there. But I love you, Bob Coates. You the man.
Oh, thank you, Marissa. I appreciate you having me.
Heck yes. And I think I'm just gonna stop all of this. So if we get disconnected, I love you and I mean it.
Okay.
Okay, bye, Bob Coates.